When we talk about the role and place of women during the time of the Prophet, we also have to understand the Arab concept of nobility. They have this idea of murwa, and which affected them in terms of their relationship with one another, to the point that the Arab was so concerned about his image and his sense of nobility that when his enemy is being chased by another person who may not be his enemy, but his enemy comes into his tent, he would rather be killed by the enemy of his enemy than to let that enemy who was willing to kill him just 2 hours ago die in his tent. That was an Arab attitude, which was very interesting, in the sense that the sense of honor of the Arab was so strong. And of course, people have celebrated this Jahiliyyah quality in the old days. Now, of course, when Islam came, it addressed this psychological attitude of the Arab of the pre-Islamic period, because that sense of honor that was very strong among the Arabs of that time made it also possible for them to violate the women of the other tribe. And this could create a vendetta. And there was a lot of vendetta. The Italians also have this. It's still going on in Italy, in Sicily. If you mess up with our daughters or our sisters, we're going to fight your clan for the rest of your life. For 10, 20, 50, 100 years, we'll be fighting with you. The Arabs had that idea of vendetta. That is, if you mess with us, we will mess with you. And this will go intergenerationally. My sons will fight you, their sons will fight you, my great-grandson will fight your family for life. And of course, this has implication for the women, because what it meant, since the women in the old societies were the most vulnerable, because they could be violated by the men, and this created problem of honor and shame for many of these Arabs. And that was one of the reasons why the Arabs did not like to have girls. Many of us would like to talk about, oh, they were burying the girls. There was a logic for it. Because if you live in a society where people like to save face, and the other side know that the only way they can always make you guys as a clan, as a group, lose face by messing up with one of your women, you lose face automatically. So naturally, you feel dishonored as a group, not as one family, as a clan. You are all dishonored because one of your women was violated. So for that reason, your clan will now begin to fight the other clan for life. Now, in order to minimize the risk and the tension, what happens? You now try to reduce your casualty rate. And in this case, the casualty is the female population. That was why they were burying their daughters. Because they will feel that if I have 5 daughters, chances are, the probabilities are, we will be shamed in our lifetime. But if I have 4 sons, 5 sons, no problem. That was the reason. That was why the Arabs wanted to have boys. And they were not very eager to have girls. Because especially when you are not in a position to defend their honor. That was the reason. Now, when Islam came, it will change that whole psychology. Because when Islam came, Islam now began to tell the Arabs, change your focus. Don't have this ego business about our clan. Let us create a new sense of community for you. Don't focus on your tribe, on your clan. Focus on the ummah. You now have a new line of descent based on faith. So, a community of theological faith replaced a community of biological faith, F-A-T-E. The first one, F-A-I-T-H. A community of theological faith, meaning Islam, the Ummah, replaced a community built on biological links. Now, this is very important, and this is the most revolutionary development of Islam in human history, because Islam now begins to tell human beings, you may be a small family, you may have more girls than boys, but you will now have all these men who are Muslim who will protect your women. It creates a sense of security among the Arabs. Because now you don't have to have boys to be protected. You now have a whole clan of Muslims who will protect you. Because, and these people are not only committed to you in this dunya, they are committed to you in the akhirah. And they are willing to die for you because they know that there is an akhirah and they are standing for justice. That changed the relationship between man and woman. It changed the Arab attitude towards their women. It changed their attitude towards their daughters. So henceforth, you will no longer bury your daughters. In fact, your daughters now become very important in the community because your daughters now become the bridge between your family and the other families. Especially when they are virtuous women, because all the men in the whole Ummah would like to come to this family because they are pious and responsible members of the community. So you can see the judo that the Prophet was able to play. You have a major psychological judo here. You use the strength of the Jahiliyyah against it to strengthen the Ummah. Because now Arab pride is no longer channeled through warfare against each other through vendetta. Now Arab pride is now channeled towards being a mujahideen, a community of mujahideen who are willing to fight for the deen, who are willing to die for this community, to defend their women folks, to defend their property, to protect their deen, and all the other things. That was what the Prophet learned. And this changed the role and place of women in Islam. So you move from a Jahiliyyah way of looking at women to an Islamic way of looking at women. This was a major revolution in history.